Welcome back, fellow Wastelanders and followers of the Minuteman Credo. This is Beardcleese coming at you with another settlement build. This is the Minuteman Naval Headquarters. And right here, we're coming into our first store. This is kind of the back of the settlement. The road that goes by Nordhagen Beach is, I actually made that the back, and you'll see why in a little bit. The front of the settlement is actually on the water. So we just went through our clothing store. Here's our general store. This is going to be a real quick settlement tour. And you may notice that there's some differences between this one and my normal builds, as in I'm using more of the vanilla assets. And that's mostly just because I wanted to try something different. It's been a long time since I've built something that was a little more run down. And I figured building a naval pier would be a good way to try that. This isn't here to, like the castle build, is to impress and wow allies of the Minutemen. This one is more functional. And as well, if you do download the settlement blueprint, you won't need as many mods, because 99.9% of the structures are built with vanilla assets. The decorations, however, are another thing, but I will have two versions up, one with decorations and one without. Or rather, more appropriately, if you don't go download the decoration mods, they just won't show up. So here's our pub number 1. This one's more like the good times, celebratory, very well lit pub. And then, of course, a nice little patio out here to sit and relax and kind of do a little window shopping there at the clothing store. And here's our weapons shop. Got a spot for some power armor for sale, and of course any weapon you want. And you may have noticed that these shops have bedrooms behind them, and that's because, again, as with my castle build, we didn't want to waste Minuteman assets just running stores. Of course, we have inventory and supply and things like that, but we didn't want to for those extra items that, you know, the non-Minutemen clothing and things like that. You know, we obviously don't want to take away from our Minuteman rank, so we just basically give Wastelanders or civilians a place to live and protection, and in exchange they give us steep discounts on their wares. So it's a good deal for them. They get to live in a fortified location and have a pretty consistent customer base. So this is actually the back of the settlement, as I said, along the road here. So that's our back entrance, which, as you can see, is very well defended. You can have Minutemen in here patrolling the wall. And then over here is the Admirals Office. Now, again, this is the Naval HQ. So the general doesn't, I mean, my general is obviously going to be in command over everything, but this particular base is ran by an admiral. In my gameplay, Admiral Longfellow. Now, is it just a bit presumptuous of me to assume that a guy named Longfellow would be in the Navy? I don't know. You'd have to, you know, you'd have to tell me. But this is his office, pretty bare, just, you know, the essentials, and then his quarters are going to be up here. So he lives and works pretty much in the same building. As long as you keep his whiskey coming, he doesn't care where you put him. So, and then of course a bathroom. Being CEO, he has his own bathroom. So we're gonna go back through here, and again with the builds, I wanted to go for less mods being used. That seems to be the feedback I'm getting most, is that people are interested in my builds. They just don't necessarily have all the mods, especially with snap and build being gone. Now, that doorway I showed you in the intro to the video, this is the control center for it. And so I decided to turn this room into kind of a central hub for all of the electronics on the base. So all of our communications, all of our power stations, and you can see I've got the logic switches numbered as well as the delayed on switches numbered. And of course, the wires still don't transfer with the settlement builds, so I will do a tutorial on how I wired this up. That video should be coming soon. If you can't wait for the tutorial and you want to wire it up now, I first saw that door technique done on Jug Gaming. Put a link in the description on the video. He did that technique in one of his video builds. He's probably the king of building on console with no mods. Just incredible things he does without mods. Okay, so the engineer that actually runs the base and keeps everything in check, he gets his own quarters up here. So he has a personal workstation up here. That's his fancy chair. In this closet is where a lot of the servers are, as well as some of the conduits for running power across the doorway without the wires dangling in your face. And then, of course, you got the... Oh, you know what? I forgot to show you the most important room over here. Oh, my gosh. He gets his own bathroom, too. That's because we don't let him out. He stays up here. So, or rather, stays in this side of the building. And, of course, a shower. Decided to put a stand-in shower. No time for luxury. Wash yourself, get out, get back to work. So... by the pub here. There's the greenhouse. I actually didn't put anything in the greenhouse. I just figured that,
broken.
You know, if you want to, you can. Of course, I always forget that I lock some of these doors and then I turn off the display, and there we go. So the building that we're in right now is the officers' quarters. This is where the junior officers will stay. So for each of our ships that are staffed with junior officers, this is their quarters. Pretty simple. Some beds and some places to eat and some places to chill. And lots of Minuteman flags. And then up here is going to be the senior officer quarters, or captain's quarters. So we've got nice accommodations for our sea captains. So they can come here and enjoy being at home base. And, of course, they get their own private bathrooms. Especially when you compare this with the barracks. The barracks where the seaman stays. Or the seamen stay. Rather. Yeah. So... Yep, so this is the officers' building. And then down the plank we go. Some workout facilities. Down that alleyway is a big trash can. There's our workout facilities. And so here are the barracks at the naval headquarters. And so we've got ourselves a nice Minuteman statue. Well-lit courtyard. And then, of course, a locked door, which I can't figure out for some reason. I'll open it with a lightsaber. Okay, so our very Spartan junior enlisted barracks. And then, of course, a custom-built spiral staircase. And more barracks. Originally, this building was going to be something else, but I decided to turn it into barracks just for the limitations on the build space. If the settlement would have expanded further toward Fort Strong there, I probably would have built this building a little bit different. And one of the things that drives me nuts about some of these settlements is you can't get rid of the grass, and it's just infuriating because not only is it a FPS hit, but it looks stupid. So, but I just figured I'd roll my eyes and move on. So here's the second staircase that's a winding staircase. So there's many ways to get up and around in these barracks. So we'll head down here and show you kind of the main way that most sailors are going to see this base. They're going to come in off their ship, whichever dock they come in at, come down the dock and come by our vendors here. Again, civilian / wasteland vendors that we allow to operate here. This port of call also will accept traders. So if you're a fisherman or a trader that happens to be traveling by boat, you'll check in here at the station, and then we'll either trade with you with our inventory here, or we'll tell you we're not interested, but you can go ahead and feel free to enjoy the amenities of the base, spend some money over at the tavern, whatever. And so another store out here, and up here's our more fancy dining facilities. So this is where you would take a date after 4 months at sea, getting back to land, and bring your date out here and have nice views of the ocean there. Or maybe take them out to the patio here, which is a little bit more intimate with the candlelight rather than the stream of bulbs at the pub over there. And then when you've successfully wooed your date, you can rent a room from the innkeeper here. Each room is pretty hotel-like, some basic storage, a bed, a desk, and then that's pretty much it. A couple of these have balconies. But, I mean, if you're a trader and you've been on a fishing boat for the last 3 months, these rooms are going to be real nice. So. And then, of course, a nice view of the docks of the naval headquarters here. Okay, so now back to this area that we kind of skipped over, but I wanted to save for last. This is the secure working area of the base. So if you are not part of the naval forces here at the base, you're probably working in here. So we've got some spaces here to work on our power unit. Our main fusion generator down here powers most of the settlement. As you can see, I built some custom stairs to get down here in this tight spot. There's our turret, just in case you get past the IFF system that allows you through those automatic doors. Here's our chemistry station, pretty standard here. Weapons workbench, armor workbench, and some storage. My West Tech blueprints, some of my favorite decorations. Wall of safes there. This is kind of the administration area of the base. So the administrative assistants will work up here. We've got a communications desk and a base manager's desk. And, of course, some filing cabinets for that ever-important paperwork. Last but not least, here is the Armoury. So we're going to go ahead and switch this on and... Whoa! Illumination. Oh, yes. Behold my room of destruction. So we've got some weapon racks up here in front of the illumination, so you can put your fancy weapons there. And then, of course, some power armor stations, and these labeled storage boxes. So if you want to put your mini nukes in there, it's a very appropriate storage box. And then the vanilla weapons display units, just in case you didn't want to download a mod. And all those armor boxes, or ammo boxes, are labeled appropriately. So you'll be able to keep track of your ammo pretty easily. Alright guys, thank you for watching this settlement tour. Go ahead and give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy the work I do. I plan uploading this and other settlements to the Nexus, so if this is something that appeals to you, go ahead and download it and make it yours. I do plan on doing a couple different styles of builds in the future. Definitely the Institute. I do like building Institute builds, so be on the lookout for those. This has been Beardkillies, and I'll see you in the next video.